the goal. What is the goal of uploading videos? What do you want to convey? And if we look at the videos that I've been uploading recently, most of them are related to IT, definitely. And what we want is to get more people to be aware about PhilNITS. What is PhilNITS? It's a way to test your abilities, to be able to prove that you have mastered a particular field. And in this case, it's IT related. And then those who want to get a job could get a job more easily than those who haven't passed the exam. Now, I've been asked as well, okay, so if I pass the exam, I'm gonna get a job in Japan, for example. What else can I do? And I usually reply that if you're looking for money, then it looks like getting into a Japanese company would be the way to go. Because local companies, especially the non-international ones, are not going to give you a lot of money. So if you're going for money as your main priority, it would be best to find a job at a Japanese company and then go to Japan and earn money there. But if you are looking for something more meaningful, perhaps, and not just be a cog in the wheel or a low ranking employee, especially at the start, because you enter a company, you're not going to be the CEO immediately in a big company, right? So you have to learn the business and then work your way up toward the higher ranks, and it'll take years, decades. Some people don't even make it to a top position at all, an executive position, because they can't deliver as well as the others, or they simply prefer to be where they are. Because if you want to move up to the top, you have to be prepared to do things that you might not really want to. Uh, because, for example, if you are only a peon, a rank and file employee, then you simply follow orders. You get a request to do something, you do it. But once you get higher in rank, you would have to think about how you would delegate your tasks. And to be able to delegate, to get people to move, you would have to know something about money. You would have to know how to exchange their service for money. So you have to pay them. If you don't have money to pay them, then you won't have anyone to delegate your tasks to, right? So that's why those who are higher in rank should have money to get people to move. Now, there are other ways to get people to move without have to pay as much, and I've done that before too. And one way is to get students, to get interns, and you don't really pay them money, and instead what you pay them would be grades. You pay them, for example, someone interns at your company, you pay them with a recommendation, you pay them with a good rating, things like that. So there are ways to get people to move without having to pay them. But interns aren't really gonna stay for very long because they're interns. They have to stay up to a certain number of hours, maybe 300 hours in total or 500 hours. Afterward, they would look for some place that would give them money, that would pay them money. So if your company can pay them money, then they'll leave. So there are many ways to get people to move. One is to pay them money. Another is to pay them grades. And For those who are thinking about getting higher income, then what you have to do is to do something that someone else would want you to do, and that person is willing to pay you the certain amount that you are going for. The problem is sometimes the person wants to get a higher income, but there's no one who would want to pay you that amount. So that's why you have to look into what do people want? What do people have money want? And then you go and do what they want so that they'll give you money. That's the concept there. But again, there are many who can't give whatever service that those people who have money want because they don't have the skills. Another reason is that they need money now. They don't have time for training because I tell people, we provide training. You can train to become an engineer, for example. Take the exam, and that way you get a job at a Japanese company much more easily. And then from there, you get money. Now, the next problem that you'd likely encounter if you do that is the Japanese company doesn't seem to be paying you as much as you'd want them to. So they pay you a pretty good salary, but once you have a family, start a family, have children, you realize that the income isn't going as high as you'd want it to. And I've heard cases about other people looking for other jobs elsewhere because they don't see themselves getting more income if they stayed at the Japanese company. Now, the answer to that is if you learn the Japanese language, they're going to pay you more. They're going to pay you a bonus, actually. So that means that if you can learn the Japanese language, then you're going to get more money in return because the Japanese company value employees who have that particular skill set. And so you can get more money if you can do what the company wants you to do, plus you can speak the Japanese language. The problem is many people know that, but they aren't able to learn the Japanese language. It takes years, at least 5 years to learn the language, and most people give up because they find it fun at first. They wanna watch the anime that they want. They wanna do whatever it is that they can see online with people who know the language, and they want to have fun and do stuff like that. But they reach a certain point when they really feel the difficulty that it's challenging to learn the language. There's so many words, there are so many things that you have to know, and it's not anymore the greetings, the hello, goodbye, thank you kind of word. You have to learn more. And there are so many people who don't want to do that. They just want to watch anime, and it turns out that the subtitles are okay enough for me.